Hi, everyone. Welcome to Blackbird Writers award-winning podcast. I want to welcome our author, Margaret Mizushima. Margaret writes the internationally published Timber Creek Canine Mysteries. She served as a past president of the Rocky Mountain chapter of Mystery Writers of America and was elected Writer of the Year by Rocky Mountain Fiction Writers. She is the recipient of a Colorado Authors League Award and a Benjamin Franklin Book Award and a CIBA Clue Award and two Willa Literary Awards by Women Writing the West. Is that Willa Cather, I'm assuming?
That is right.
That's
That's
awesome.
who
Awesome.
the award is named after.
I love
Yes.
it. Her books have been finalists for a Spur Award by Western Writers of America and a Killer Nashville Silver Falcone Award and the Colorado Book Award. And Margaret is kind enough to join us today both and talk about both her experiences as an author and her newest book, the Timber Creek Canine Mystery Series, Dying Cry, in which a killer lurks in Colorado's snowy high country. Dying Cry is the 10th thrilling installment of her award-winning series. And also I love this Colorado's snowy high country. It's beautiful out there. So that's like a wonderful setting. And it turns out to be a wonderful setting in the book. So welcome and thank you for joining me today to have a great talk about your series.
Well, thank you for having me as a guest, Amanda. And it's great to be a fellow Blackbird writer with you.
It's a great community. I really enjoy it and such wonderful authors in it. So I'm
Yes.
happy to be among all the other great writers here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and dive in if that's okay. I
Yes.
really connect with Robo, the dog in your series. And I feel like I noticed that he builds trust with other characters. And you often weave in his background of training and his temperament to show that he's trustworthy. So that even when a witness might feel vulnerable or even a victim might feel vulnerable, he's there, both strong and with integrity, in this case, this dog has, but also some warmth, which I really like. So how has your experience working with animals helped build Robo's presence in the series?
Well, first of all, I think I was born an observer of dog behavior because I can remember, when I was probably 5 or 6 years old, growing up on a ranch where we had families, rarely had families. There were 3 houses on this ranch, 25 miles from any town. But I had dogs as playmates much of the time instead of other kids. So I think that that just comes naturally for me. And then I married a veterinarian who always wanted to have a pack of dogs around. We're currently down to only one dog, and this is the first time we've only had one dog since we married.
Yeah,
So
it's hard to keep it at one, right? Like you just want
yes,
to open your home to like all the dogs. Why can't we have all the dogs?
that's right.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right.
I get that as a fellow dog lover, so yeah.
It's just like the James Harriet books, you know how the main character in there, the main veterinarian, had a pack of dogs at his house all the time.
Yeah.
It kind of felt that way at our house as well.
Well, as you
Um,
point out from your childhood, they're your best friends, right? So they're your
yeah,
pact, so, which is
yeah.
great. That's awesome.
But the other thing I did with this series was I made trust be a fatal flaw for the main protagonist, who is Maddie Cobb, who is a canine handler in the first book, Killing Trail.
Yeah.
And she is Robo's handler. And she has a whole lot of baggage in her backstory that has to be unpacked fairly slowly throughout the series. But by making Maddie always focus on trust, I loved to build Robo as the counterpoint to that, where he actually helps her learn to trust others and he helps her make friends, which she had really never focused on in her past also. And in Killing Trail, they're a newly minted canine unit. And so she's just getting started. And that is also one of the things her trainer points out to her, this that she needs to learn how to trust that dog, or they will never be any better than a human cop can be. But if she learns to trust her partner, there's just no end to how good they can get in law enforcement.
I did notice that theme of always trust your dog, of like it's only going to be to both the partnership's benefit to both dog and human if she trusts him. That's the only way it has to work. And I liked that a lot. And I think that comes through.
Good.
It's very satisfying at the end when she kind of comes to that realization.
Oh,
And
good.
is it fair to say then Robo kind of is the gateway to her connecting to other people too, as she connects with the veterinarian in that first book? Yeah.
Yes. And that was another thing I really wanted to highlight is the animal human bond, because by training, I'm a speech therapist. And so we constantly tried to use that with some of our clients who really needed that bond of having a companion animal or a therapy dog work with them. And that was often, how you gained inroads to that brain to help them connect synapses to learn how to talk or how to speak to their dog. So it was a great thing to be able to have had that experience when I turned my hand to fiction writing after I retired as a speech therapist.
So, okay, so even as a speech therapist, you were using therapy dogs to connect people to be able to express themselves?
Yes.
Oh, that's so cool. I love
Yeah.
that. How did was
Or to
it,
increase the desire for
uh,
communication too.
did it work well? Were they able to kind of overcome some things with the help of the dog?
I think we're with certain clients, it worked very well. And with others, it was just probably more of a motivator.
Yeah,
Uh, and didn't really help with so much the communication connection so much as more of a motivator to try to work on that day's lesson.
okay. Yeah, but then it's one step at a time, right? Like at least you can,
That's right.
yeah, moving
That's
along.
right. With therapy, it's inch by inch
Yeah.
sometimes. Hmm.
So was it enjoyable to train the dogs to do this, or did you get dogs trained?
Oh, our dogs were usually just trained for obedience,
Okay.
and to just be calm. And they had to kind of have that personality to
Yeah.
just be in the room, and not be all over the place with excitement.
Yes.
So it was picking the right dog personality type
Yeah.
and then having a lot of good obedience so the dog would be where you wanted the dog to be and would stay where they needed to be or come when they needed to come.
Yeah. Yeah. And they could calmly connect rather than be a support rather than some dogs draw all the attention to them.
That's right. Some dogs are just a little too excited. And
Hey,
there's a place
I've
for
got one
that
like that.
too, but not usually in a therapy room.
Exactly. That makes sense. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so I do want to focus in on your small town settings a little bit, which I like being from a small town. They're very relatable and they add color. Like you have these exciting scenes where real detective work is happening, where the case is moving along. But then you have this kind of backdrop of all these warmer characters from the small town, and it really adds something. So I just wonder if you, either from your background or from where you live, if you're motivated to write about small towns, if that is an inspiration to you at all.
Well, the small town that we moved next to when I was in a freshman in high school was very small. It's named Saguache, Colorado. And it is a very small town. At one time, the census said 245.
Oh my
So
goodness.
we're talking small.
Yeah, how
And
small was your school then?
there were 24 in my graduating class, but we were a large class. Most classes were anywhere from 5 to 12.
Oh my goodness.
So 1952 happened to be a booming year for births
Yeah,
in that
I
community.
guess. I guess. After World War, well, you know, like, how does that work? Yeah, okay.
But I love that small town atmosphere. It gets a little tedious when everybody knows your business
Yeah,
because of the grapevine. But I also like that grapevine a little bit too, because people, when they're called to help, they're loyal to their community and to the
yeah.
people in their community. And so that particular atmosphere I really liked. I also wanted to bring out in Killing Trail how expensive patrol and protection dogs are. And they're usually $10,000 on up. And so I went ahead and made it so that the community raised the funds in order to buy the dog because their community was threatened with drug traffic.
Yeah.
And so ranchers and merchants inside the town of Timber Creek gathered the money to buy Robo for the sheriff's department. And so I found out later that another community near Saguache actually did
Did
do
that. Well, I think it's so great because I mean I love that it happened in real life. I mean, even before you knew, but like I like that they all have then a stake in him, right? Like
that.
they're all a part of his life because they all brought him into the community and funded that. I think that's great.
Well, and the support for law enforcement um, to take care of their kids. I mean,
Yeah.
to take care of the children in their community and to try to keep drugs out
Yeah, and to
um,
keep him safe.
is really important.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that a lot. And it shows a real sense of community there. It's great. Um, okay, so I'm gonna change course a little bit. Uh, because you have this warmth of the small town, but then you also have this high stakes drama. And in Dying Cry, it like opens and it's like a real, like kind of takes your breath away a little bit. So, I'm not going to spoil that because I want everyone to go and pick it up, which they should be doing, as soon as they can. So you're good with the high stakes drama. And just, I'm going to get a little writerly here for a second. You're also good at restating the stakes as you go through. So people, uh, are clear what's going to happen, if something in this chain fails, if Maddie fails, if Robo fails, you know what's going to happen. And how would you advise writers in maintaining drama and reiterating stakes without bogging down the narrative? How do you do it so well? Like share your secrets a little bit about what motivates you and how you do it.
Well, thank you very much. I do really try to change the stakes because I try to change Maddie's goals throughout the book. And there is a great book. It's an old book. It's by Deborah Dixon, and it's called GMC: Goal, Conflict, and Medication. And Motivation. And I'm looking that way because that's where I
You're looking
keep.
towards your shelf. Yeah.
I'm looking at my shelf.
Time.
And I just highly recommend it to all writers of fiction because that's the kernel of what we're trying to create. We have to create this conflict, and we create conflict in part by upping the stakes, especially in crime fiction. Um, but we can also up the emotional stakes if we're writing romance or another
Yeah.
genre, we can bring that in. And of course, we can also bring that into our crime fiction because romantic suspense
Sure.
is popular, things like that. But I guess that would be my go-to is to try to continue. Every chapter that I write, I have a template where I put what Maddie's goals are going to be, or I write in two points of view. One is Cole Walker, who is the veterinarian, who is Maddie's love interest. So I have what whoever's point of view I'm writing in, it's what their goals are, what their motivation is, and what conflict am I going to bring to that chapter. And every chapter has to have that. So that's my how-to. If it works for people, please, give it a shot.
I think that's great advice, and I really like that so many authors have boiled down their process to some guiding principles that like help them just kind of keep in the back of their minds. Motivation is one for me too, of being like, okay, if I know what my character wants, then I can launch them into this action, which I think it's great. I think that's fantastic. Yeah,
Thanks.
and I'll have to check out that book too.
I hope you can get a copy. I haven't checked it for it lately, but I think it's probably still in print. It's a handbook for many commercial writers.
Yeah, yeah. Some of mine are quite old too and well loved and dog-eared. I think like the advice doesn't get old, it still stands like you it worked then, it works now. Okay, so it's really moving to see Robo and Maddie protect and care for each other. So kind of getting back to the characterization a little bit. How do you arrive at the scenes where they build this trust we were talking about? And do those scenes come quickly for you? Is there a type of scene that you like to write more than others? Like, do you like the more deepening of relationships, or are you more into the fast-paced drama? Is there a scene that you tend to really enjoy, a type of scene to write?
The scenes that I enjoy writing are definitely the action scenes. Ever since writing Killing Trail, I've found that whenever I was trying to write relationship scenes, I would kind of bog down, they'd slow down. I'd feel like I was slogging through the dialogue and the narrative. And then when I'd hit those action scenes, it just would come real quickly. And I just imagine myself in the country that I love, which is hiking the high country of Colorado. And I would just, picture different places I've been and what the topography and the terrain is like, and what the plants are like, and what the animals in that part are like, and what noises you hear and things like that. So that would come really fast. And I worked with one editor in my first 5 books, and she was so helpful to me because she would remind me when I was doing those scenes to make sure I paid attention to the emotions of the characters because they're moving through the terrain so quickly, and to make sure that I included what they were thinking while they were moving. And so I have her to thank for that. And so that's probably what I enjoy the most. But
Yeah.
every book has to have both. And I constantly strive to try to make my dialogue better and to try to make my interactions with people better.
Oh, you
I,
do a great job.
we just, we writers are never happy with it.
You're like, what can I do? No, this could be better.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah,
We're constantly striving to make things
yeah.
better.
But I wanna kind of home in on your comment of kind of picturing where you were when you hike. Um, are we talking about Western Colorado? Okay, so my family is my in-laws are from Colorado and have done a lot of hiking there. Are we
Oh,
talking about Western Colorado or Central or where or Rocky Mountain National Park, or where do you like to hike?
so, Northern Front Range.
Okay.
So we were near, well, we have moved to Washington State to be closer to family. But prior to my husband's retirement as a veterinarian, we were living just north of Fort Collins,
Okay.
Colorado.
I
So
got it now. Yeah.
most of my hiking was done, up towards Gray Rock or in the Poudre Canyon,
Yeah.
or on the natural spaces north of Fort Collins. I did a lot of hiking there, and every week I tried to get to Rocky Mountain National Park and tried to go on a different trail, get to a different lake, and so summers were spent at Rocky Mountain National Park. I
Right.
hear it's so crowded now that you have to
It's
have
so crowded. Yeah, we tend
appointments.
to go, more towards the Breckenridge area. But I
Yeah.
think, and the topography does change over the state. But to your point, like if you can picture the places where you enjoyed being in nature and you kind of breathed that in, you can translate that to your work using your five senses, and right? I'm going to say right because when I read your work, I feel like I'm there. And I think that's fantastic. So I like
Okay.
that you're pulling from your hiking experience.
Yeah. Yes. That I pull from all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone should hike.
Thank
Come on. We need to tell everybody to hike.
you. That's right. It's good for us too.
It's
I don't do
great.
enough of it
Absolutely, of course.
anymore.
Exactly.
I'm I'm at my desk writing books too
Yeah.
much these days.
I give you permission to take a hiking trip.
Thank you.
Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about, so we're talking about our five senses and you bring your experiences in, but what about just doing research? How have you done the research for these books?
Well, I was pretty lucky to have had past experience that I didn't know at the time, but it was completely developing this log of research for these books. I when my husband and I were in our 30s, a child was lost in the mountains next to Fort Collins, and unfortunately, that child was not found. Dogs were brought in, but the child wasn't found until about a year later, his remains were found.
Oh,
But during that time, my husband was like, we are going to train our dogs how to track.
oh, I
So,
love that. That's what his immediate response to that tragedy was. Not all
yeah,
that much.
we're going to have a dog that we can immediately track our 2 year old if she wanders away. So we took two of our dogs, an Australian Shepherd and a Rottweiler, to a county group that was training for search and rescue tracking. And such valuable experience. I mean,
Great.
tracking is tracking, whether it's done to try to find a fugitive or whether it's done to try to find a missing person. And so, Gathering Mist, book 9 in the series, is about a search and rescue effort that's here in Washington State. Maddie and Robo are actually called out to Washington State because Robo is an air scenting dog, and they needed more air scenting dogs to cover a certain amount of territory looking for a missing child. So it was, I mean, it was just such a great experience for me. And then on top of that, my husband had a client who was a patrol and protection dog trainer, and he let me come and shadow him at
Nice.
his facility. Got to ask all kinds of rookie and experienced handlers questions about mistakes they might make, what's the hardest part about learning to be a handler, and got all that background before I sat down to write Killing Trail. And then I like to go to patrol dog competitions that are held in different jurisdictions across the country and watch a variety of dogs performing all of the skill set things that they have in their tool belt. And so such a lot of
A lot of
ways to
experience
research.
yeah, before you even started. I
Yeah.
gotta get kind of drill down on one of those comments though. Air sensing talk. So I do know that dogs can track uh I have to get kind of dark because we're talking about crime fiction. Blood that has been in the soil and grown up in a plant, like 2, 3 years after it's happened, to help find a body. What's the difference between how do we get to the air scenting?
So you're talking about dogs that have probably been trained for human remains detection or
Yes.
cadaver dogs.
Yeah.
And those dogs specifically are trained to find those scents, and they can find scents, decade, a decade, a body
Crazy. Yeah, yeah,
they can find a body that's underwater.
yeah.
That
How are they
so
doing that?
they're
I know
just
they have 100 times more scent than us, but yeah,
yeah, they are amazing.
yeah, yeah.
Um, but for a search and rescue dog or a patrol dog, some of them track on the ground, and I have to say that it depends on your jurisdiction and your part of the country how you refer to this, because some people call that trailing on the ground, but I was taught that's tracking on the ground. So they put their noses to the ground and they track the scent. We all shed our skin cells.
It's in your
And
book.
those
A wrap.
skin,
Yes.
yes, skin rafts. And we leave our scent everywhere we go to a dog. So some of them track those that they smell in the foliage on the ground. And some of them actually look for the scent they're trying to find by putting their heads up in the air and finding it. And sometimes they will work what's called a scent cone. So if you imagine this target that is giving off scent, it might be a dead person, it might be a live person, it might be a bird if a bird dog is working the scent. But from that target, their scent goes on the wind. We'll pretend the wind is coming from this direction. It goes in a cone and it spreads on the
That's
wind.
interesting.
And so the dogs they find that scent and they start working that cone where they range back and forth. When they get out of the scent cone, they go back to it, and then they come in and they narrow it down and they find their target.
Oh
Now,
my gosh, to narrow it down is amazing.
if you watch a bird dog work, which my husband trains bird dogs, it's a great way to figure out how dogs are doing this, because you can see them actually working the bird.
Yes.
When they get there,
Yeah.
they point.
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't flush the bird, they point at the
But you
bird
can see the
and
path
wait for
they
their
take.
human to come.
Yeah, you can see the path they take narrowing that cone down. That's really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Dogs
So,
are amazing.
so let's say there's a missing child in the forest, which is the premise of Gathering Mist. There's a missing child. They have scent articles, some of his clothing that he has worn that has not been laundered, so they're laden with his scent. They take those in a plastic bag. The dog sniffs that scent, and an air scenting dog then goes out and
Okay.
starts ranging around trying to find that scent. And if they smell it, then they start working the scent cone and find that person. A tracking dog is going to look for the scent on the ground.
Oh,
And
okay.
they're going to start ranging around with their nose to the ground until they find that scent. And then they're going to follow the track or the trail, the scent trail that the person has left. And then there are some dogs like our Rottweiler who do both. And it's just amazing.
It
Some
is. And with this
it's so
context too, it kind of like helps me sort of see, I would think back on Robo's action, his sequences of action and how that makes sense for what he's doing. Yeah. And it did at the time too, but this like extra layer is interesting to know, you know? Yeah.
good. Thank you.
I like it. I like it. Yeah, and another reason that dogs are the best pet to have in the whole world. Not that I'm biased.
No. What dog do you have?
I have a cattle border collie mix.
Oh boy. So
He,
smart.
yes, I'm sorry, she is a rescue, and then we rescued a Pomsky who he thinks he's a big dog. That's what happens when you get that. You got a husky and a Pomeranian, so he thinks he's a husky. Wait, what is your current dog that you have? I know only have one right now.
She's a German short hair pointer.
Okay, that makes sense. Yes.
Big long nose.
Yeah.
She can smell anything.
Oh, I bet. I bet. I'm sure she can smell all the treats in your house too.
Well, and if a mouse gets in our garage,
Yeah.
we know exactly where that mouse
Oh,
is.
nice.
Now she may knock over a bunch of tools and buckets getting to it,
Of course.
but
Hey,
but
she's got to do what
she
she's got to
will tell us there's a mouse in the garage.
do. Okay, well, we're getting short on our time.
All right.
I want to remind everybody to go out and buy Die and Cry. The whole series is wonderful, and you will enjoy every moment of it. Exciting, warm. The relationship between Maddie and Robo is fantastic. So I really encourage you to go out and pick it up. Margaret, are you reading anywhere soon? Can anyone come to a reading of yours?
Well, I will be starting most of my events in October, and they are all listed on my website, which is margaretmizushima.com. And just go to the events tab, and you'll see where I'll be for book signings and readings. And then I will be at BoucherCon, World Mystery Conference in New Orleans in September. It starts September 2nd, September 3rd. I believe we're traveling there September 2nd. So yeah, it's a great conference. And if you're in anywhere in that neighborhood, you can come into the bookstore and see authors there.
Yeah, it's great for readers and authors. It's a fantastic conference.
It is. It is. It's actually based on satisfying readers and introducing them to new authors and new books.
Yep.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
and it definitely does that. Well, thank you so much for interviewing with me today. It was lovely to talk with you about the series, and I encourage everybody to go out, drop what they're doing right now, and go out and buy, start the series or pick up the newest installment.
Well, thank you very much. It can these books can be found online. Your favorite bookseller, brick and mortar bookseller, you can ask them to order them, and they're widely available. So, thank you very much for your time, Amanda, and it was great getting to visit with you.
Yeah, it was good talking with you.